Okay guys, hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about something that I've actually never talked about before. I don't even honestly know if it's a good idea to talk about it now. But I'm going to because I was watching the show, The Morning Show, and I started to get really angry about women in the workplace being silenced by sexual misconduct. And it reminded me of when I was working on a cruise ship and I was silenced. Gosh, I'm like nervous to talk about this. So I was working on my last cruise ship, and what you have to understand about cruise ships and being a woman, I'm making a really broad statement, I don't think everyone feels this way, but I had a really hard time trying to figure out, you know, when you're on a cruise ship, you're living like with your family, right? So I was on my last ship for 9 months or something like that. And you have to, you know, you have to be nice. You just have to be nice to everybody, because if not, it's just a harder, life is just hard. So, I mean, I had people, which would make me so mad, you know, officers that would be on their high horses, and some of these guys, not all of the guys, some of them were really nice, but some of these officers really loved power. And, you know, I'd walk down what's called the I-95, which is where the, all of the crew lived. It was like your main walkway. And, you know, I'd just be like walking. And I remember one time I had an officer look at me and go, "Can you smile?" I was like, dude, I'm like in my home. Like, I don't have to like walk around and smile at everybody. Like, maybe I'm having a hard day. Like, you have no idea what my life is, and you telling me how to act. First off, when someone tells me to smile, like, I want to do the opposite because it pisses me off. But you know, there's lots of people telling you how to act. And as a woman, I always felt like it was hard to find that balance between like being nice and not being flirty. And I know that sounds really dumb, because, you know, when you think of flirting, you think of like, hi, you know, whatever. But some men, I found, when you'd say hi, like, they get the wrong impression. I am a very friendly person in general, but it doesn't mean I'm flirting. So I had this hard time trying to find a balance with men not thinking I was hitting on them. I know that sounds so stupid, but, you know, when you're a pretty girl working on a cruise ship, you're almost like a target anyway. I was the lead singer on a lot of ships, and I don't know, I feel like, oh, the new singer's on board. Like, God, I mean, the sex that goes on cruise ships is like nuts anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I felt at the time, and I also was younger, and so, you know, I don't think I would feel like that as much now, but I felt at the time like I had to be like overly like nice to especially the officers, because then, you know, they were nice back. Like, then you weren't the bitch on board. Then, you know, your life just was easier. I don't know, that's how I honestly felt on all my cruise ships, and I really do know that it's different for a lot of people, and I know that might sound ridiculous, but I'm sure there's women out there that are like, God, I feel that way in my workplace. Like, I mean, there was a viral video lately of a woman captain, and I was so thankful that that came out. Maybe that's another reason I'm talking about this, because men have dominated the industry for so long, and I had like one woman captain the entire time that I was on cruise ships, and, you know, I had one woman assistant cruise director who was awesome, by the way, but I mean, everybody was a man. That's just kind of how it was. So my last cruise ship, I mean, seriously, I was not the girl who ever, I had like one cruise ship relationship. I technically had two. The first cruise ship I dated a Russian ice skater, but it was like a monogamous thing. And then my second and third cruise ship, I was dating the same guy on both cruise ships. I was not the girl who was ever sleeping around. Everybody knew that about me. I'm not that person in general, so why would I be that on a cruise ship? And there were lots of people that were like that, and that was fine, but that was just not me. And so on my last cruise ship, there was a guy who was the head chef, and he started paying more and more attention to me, and I honestly just didn't really know how to act. Like, I was trying to be nice, I never gave him any reason to think we were gonna do anything other than like be friends. He had a wife. And he kept like sending things to my room, which you weren't supposed to have in your room anyway, because you're not supposed to actually have anything in your fridge that can spoil. And I never really sent it. I'd be like, oh, thank you, you know, like, but never anything. And honestly, I thought maybe he's just nice. Like, maybe he's just like a friend, whatever. So one night he came to my room way too late and knocked on my door and had blueberries in his hand. And I was like, oh, thanks. He's like, I found these blueberries. I'm like, okay. And I lived by myself in my room. So he's like, let me put them in your fridge. And again, it's so hard because you want, like, I want it to be nice because he's an officer and he's my superior, and I don't know, you kind of tread on this like weird ground because they're like your family. I was like, oh no, I can do it. And he's like, no, I'll do it. I was like, okay. So it was really awkward. So he walks in and shuts the door behind him. And I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. So he puts the blueberries away and he comes up to me and like tries to like put himself on me and like tries to like, you know, puts his hand on the wall, like tries to kiss me. And I was like, whoa. I was like, no, I don't want this. Like, we're friends, man. Like, no. And pushed him away and he tried again. And I ended up really pushing him and saying, if like, I don't want you in here anymore. And if you're not going to leave, I'm gonna call security and I'm gonna have somebody remove you. Like, I don't want you in here. I was like, this is really uncomfortable and you need to leave. And he was like, oh, no, honey, blah, blah, blah. And I opened the door and I was like, you need to get out or I'm calling security. And so he leaves. I felt so uncomfortable. I was shaking. I was like crying. I called my mom. I was like, this guy just came in. I don't know what to do. He's an officer and it's really like, it's really weird and awkward because he's like my superior and I'm in Asia, you know, like, or no, I was in Italy at the time. I'm in Italy, like I'm halfway across the world. Like, what happens if I complain? Do I lose my job? Like, does he lose his job? Does the ship blow up? I don't know. So anyway, I went the next day and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna complain. So I asked my superior at the time to have a meeting with me, and I loved this man. And I told him the story, and he basically said it's not worth even writing down a formal complaint because it won't go anywhere. And I was devastated because that just meant like I was silenced. Like, don't say anything because he's an officer and it'll be squashed and your life will be harder. It's basically the answer that I got. And I didn't know what to do. And I was so mad and so hurt because I also just, I mean, I idolized my superior. And you know, now that I look back, I would have complained and probably not cared about the consequences of my job because it's disgusting. And I feel like I'm sure are other women on board cruise ships that things like this have happened to and in other workplaces and that have stood up and been silenced. And I know that's what the Me Too movement is all about. And yeah, I say me too. He definitely crossed a major line and I was like completely silenced. So, you know, I guess I don't even know, honestly, I don't even know what saying this is gonna do. I feel like maybe I just needed to say it to like get off my heart and say that, hey, I've been there and it sucks and you feel powerless. And I did. And so, yeah. So anyway, I guess I just want to say that if anything like that has ever happened to you, if anything happens like that to you today, just speak up and just keep speaking up, because people aren't allowed to treat people like that. And when you say no and no and no over again and someone keeps doing something to you that you do not want, then you raise hell and you scream and yell until somebody hears you, because you need to be heard. And I wish I had been heard back then, and I'm actually super pissed about it now. But yeah, so that's my story, and I hope that this stops happening to people. And I guess that's kind of all I have to say about that right now. Thanks for watching.